We've got $50, let's go make the best investments we can. Now, based upon everything we're seeing inside of the current market, especially update-wise, you would be very inclined to think that not really much is going on. I mean, we just got a brand new music kit, but other than that, it's been really stale. But the truth is, if we want to look at the overall market, it's actually going significantly better than I think anyone could expect during this time. If we want to talk about case unboxing numbers, they're going well. If we want to talk about the overall market developments, we can see here the Esports Fire 300 is going absolutely crazy for a period of not really anything going on. The player numbers are doing successfully well, so what's really happening here? Skinland is today's sponsor, and they're giving you a $10 bonus with code MasterShiny just to try them out. They're my go-to selling spot with the highest rate for sellers, and it's super easy to use. They're going to be currently the best option, paying over 100% when you use that $10 bonus. They're super trusted when it comes to transactions, and it took me just about 2 minutes for me to get my over $200 from this Emerald Jormungandr. They've got tons of different payout options, and they're also going to be having a super low fee buyer's marketplace. It's super easy, tons of deals cheaper than Steam, and tons of different deposit options. This deal won't last forever. Make sure you check them out today with that top link in the description. Now, focusing in on our case market here to begin with, I want to give a huge shout out to the editor who's been putting together these Steam graphs for the past month or so, because CSGO stocks is back. Oh my gosh, I've been waiting for this one, and we can see exactly what's going on inside the case market because we can see those percentages, they're back, and we can see that it's been a very successful past month. Obviously, if we want to look at the case unboxing numbers, we can see nearly 1 million per day, which is a very strong and consistent number that has actually been pretty sustainable, at least at this point, and overall what we're seeing for unboxings. Obviously, we know we are running a massive case deficit, and I want to make that very clear that this is not overall a sustainable unboxing numbers when we're talking about the amount of cases out there, but this is really good for investors when we're talking about the rare cases. The supply is depleting significantly quicker than we can restore it, which is really good if you've got some of these rare cases, and obviously we can see the price points on them. They are starting to go absolutely crazy, even though we really haven't been seeing too much activity inside of this area overall. The prices are up potentially 10, 15, 20% in the past month. Absolutely perfect, and even some of these older rare cases, usually the ones that we don't expect to see a ton of growth from them, a lot of them are still doing extremely well in the current market. I think this is a very good sign of what to come, especially if we start to see a lot of people rolling in mass, especially if we see a major update or some big update coming along that's going to bring people back in with some new content. This is perfect. I love to see it, and I'm very excited to see where this market goes. Now, talking about our sticker and capsule market, things could honestly not be going better in my personal reasonable opinion. If we want to talk about something like Antwerp, we are seeing growth of potentially 25 to maybe 30% in the past month for some of these specific capsules. Obviously, not every single one of them is going up, but the fact that we're starting to see some recovery for a lot of this loss in the previous couple months is really good. Stockholm is also in a pretty similar situation where I definitely think it's starting to get to the point now where people are appreciating it once again, which is really good considering we've got Paris and Copenhagen, which are obviously on that cheaper end. Talking about Paris, obviously it is nowhere close to being ready for an investment. It's still super cheap. Obviously, if you want to look at all of these application numbers as well, we can definitely see there are some discrepancies. Biggest one I want to focus in on is Copenhagen, because today we're going to be theoretically making our Copenhagen investment, or at least looking into it, and it's definitely one that's very interesting. We talked about this data in a previous video, but it does have the lowest listings amount we've seen since Rio, and it's significantly lower than what we've seen for even Antwerp. Now, this is definitely something to keep in mind, but this is listings. Once again, it's not a foolproof way for investing. This is just people that are putting their capsules onto the market. Now, talking about capsules overall, the biggest thing you're going to need to avoid is the autograph capsules. They are statistically the worst investment you can make, whether you're talking about Stockholm, Antwerp, Rio, Paris, Copenhagen. It doesn't matter. The capsules that have the autographs inside of them nearly always fail. They're always underperforming the regular capsules, and overall, I think it's going to be one of the worst areas to put your money in, no matter what investment for a major you're trying to make. Now, if you want to look at Price Empire, which is a really good resource, we can see that overall the market really hasn't been going too crazy when we're talking about your normal play skins. A lot of them are within about a 5% range, plus or minus, over the past month, which is a really normal thing we're going to be seeing for the near future. A lot of skins aren't going to be blowing up consistently. This is a very good sign. One area that's been consistently growing is going to be those trade ups that we're talking about, specifically the ones where we're talking about older operation skins. A lot of these are up potentially 10 to 20% in the past month, and we're not seeing an overall crazy movement inside of the skins market. This is a, once again, really good area for you to look into if you're trying to get some profit off of your skins. Even something like the 2021 Train Collection is still up potentially 7-8% in the past month, and a lot of these skins are already extremely expensive. Obviously, you need to be careful because a lot of these operation skins have seen some massive profit in the past, and especially in the past couple of years since their release, but it's definitely a possibility if you're trying to get some cool looking play skins that are probably going to appreciate in value as well. Now, some miscellaneous news. In the previous video, we talked about how CSGO Stash was purchased by a Gamba website, and we just got the information that it was a $2 million deal given out to the owner to purchase this website. Absolutely insane. It's very hard to blame him in that situation. has also said they're going to be interested in purchasing CSGO skins.gg. However, obviously we can reach out to the owner, see that they have no interest in picking up any deal they're going to be offered, so very strong respect to him in that aspect. Finally then, too, one of the most interesting things I talk about in my personal opinion is something called the indicator. It's the sticker capsule 2. It's overall just a rough general consensus of where the market's sitting at, because we can see the long-term peaks, and those usually line up very perfectly to what we see in the overall market. We can see that someone has taken an interest in this capsule, unboxing a lot of them and picking up a ton of them off the market. I will say the overall price has not been affected, and do remember this is something inside of the rare drop pool. It's not discontinued, but it's very interesting to see. Now, as for what I'm buying right now, the first thing is going to be some Stockholm Legends capsules. If we want to look at the overall sticker market, I definitely think it's starting to move into a position where there is a possible investment opportunity. We're starting to see some strong recoveries, and I think the Stockholm capsules are definitely one that a lot of people are going to have an interest in, just because if you remember, these hollows are only the purple rarity there, whereas every other borderless capsule that we're going to be seeing at a cheap price point is in the pink category, making it significantly harder to get. Overall, I think Stockholm is definitely one that's got a decent amount of interest now, and it's going to sustain that moving forward. Now, in a previous episode, we picked up some of the Riptide Surf Shop stickers in the hollow format, and those have actually ended up being one of our better investments during a period where we didn't see too much going on in the market. Therefore, we're doubling on down, picking up 4 of the Watermelon Buttery hollows. Now, these ones are once again just the cheapest hollow. It's actually the second cheapest hollow, as the first one is the stickers we bought previously, but those are up over 20%, and therefore I think there's definitely some opportunity to be found inside of this area. Once again, we're picking up a super low amount of them because they're a little bit more expensive. We only got a $50 budget, but I do like this outlook moving forward. Now, the third thing I'm going to be picking up is some snakebite cases. This is for a couple big reasons. First up, talking about unboxing numbers, obviously it's one of the most unboxed rare cases out there. That's mostly just because it's got one of the biggest supplies and it's one of the cheapest price points, but I definitely think this case has some strong possibilities if we're talking about an overall market increase in demand. Now, for the series 2, we're going to be looking at some long-term plays, and this is definitely one of them. The snakebite case is not something that's going to blow up overnight, but it's definitely something that at a 20-cent price point we could probably double our money on in a relatively reasonable time period if we see the case market once again pick up in demand. I like this play long term. And finally, the last investment we're kind of going to be making is we're dedicating $15 towards a Copenhagen investment. Now, this is the big caveat with this one, is I'm not going to be investing into Copenhagen today. Honestly, we're still looking at about a 23-cent price point for a lot of these things, but I want to go ahead and put the money aside, so if it comes down to a price point that I really want to buy Copenhagen, I don't have to wait for the next video to come around in this series. Definitely a lot more of a risky play, but it's also a little bit of a diversification. I think with the amount of inventory that we have, I think it's a good idea to pick up some of every major capsule, even if we know most likely it's probably not going to end up being a winner. Now, if you were fortunate or unfortunate enough to miss my stream, I went ahead and unboxed a ton of cases because I am currently on the search for a first knife inside of CS2 or CSGO. I've never unboxed a knife. Unfortunately for me, we opened up over 400 cases and ended up with absolutely nothing, giving you a great example of not to open cases. On another note, I went ahead and competed in my first ever Tough Mudder this previous weekend. It was super fun. I've got this picture right here because I'm putting this in as a tax write-off. I got zapped in the back of the neck and went down, as you can see right here. I want this tax write-off. That's why it's in the video. Thank you, government. Thank you, tax write-off. That's all I got with you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day.